Hello. Hi, ladies. My name's Lisa Lupo, joining you guys from Chandler, Arizona. Jolynn invited me to pop in the group today and share with you guys some tips around time blocking. So I'm gonna, kind of wait for a couple of you guys to hop on, and then I'll get started. It is rainy and cold here. Hey girl, what's up? It is rainy and cold here in Arizona, which is not normal for us. So I'm like, what's going on? Where's my son? So as you guys are hopping on, if you're watching this on the replay, let us know in the comments so I can kind of keep track of who's live and who's getting this information later. And hopefully you guys could take some notes. If there's any business owners in this group, these will be very helpful tips for you. If you run a business, if you have an online business, or you work a business from home, or maybe even own a brick and mortar, these are going to be great, helpful tips for you. So I'll go ahead and get started, and I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about my story and how I got into time blocking. I actually own 2 online businesses, and a little over a year ago, building my other business, I found myself a little burnt out. Can anyone relate? Give me a little emoji if you can relate to that. Burnout. So I was working really, really hard. I was hustling. I was doing the whole, like, you got to grind it out. You got to hustle, to be successful. That was kind of the idea that had been placed in my mind after years and years of being an entrepreneur and watching other people and seeing that, I just had to go work really hard and, put my head down. And while I had great success doing that in my business and my team was booming, my income was growing, I was having great success, I found myself personally struggling health-wise, and I also found other areas of my life that were suffering a little bit because I had put all my energy and time into my business. So I was really, really good at going after the target and being super focused. And while that's great, and while the money was great, and while the success was great, it left me feeling a little bit frustrated and stressed out and tired and burned out in other areas of my life. And so what ended up happening is I got really sick, and my naturopath actually said to me, Lisa, you need to kind of figure out another way to be productive with your time, because this isn't working. This is completely exhausting your adrenals. And what I would do is go really, really hard, and then I would just crash and burn. I would recover. I'd get back up. I'd go really, really hard. I'd crash and burn. And I had done this for years and years and years. And the cycle kept repeating. And so she finally was like, you can't keep doing this. So I had to slow down, and I had to learn how to implement self-care and how to balance my life a little bit better. So what I ended up doing was taking about a 2-month little break from building my business, and I was still working and I was still managing my team and whatnot, but I wasn't actively building my business for about 2 months. And I went on this kind of retreat, this spiritual retreat, where I just kind of pulled off of social media, and I just spent a lot of time in stillness and meditation and really nurturing myself back to health, nurturing some of my relationships back to health. And through that, I learned that I could not go back to work and operate the same way that I had been operating. And so that forced me to learn a new way to be productive. And so that's where time blocking comes in. I learned that I had to figure out how to be more effective with my time, and I had to learn how to follow specific time blocks for things so that I could fit in other things into my life and not just work. So I figured out time blocking was going to be something that I was going to implement, where I was going to build in time for everything, for my relationship, for date nights, for self-care, for morning routine, for my workouts, for everything that I needed in order to show up as my best self. And so through doing that and really mastering that and learning how to really create, more balance, because I don't believe there's such a thing as total balance, because, there's always going to be areas of your life that are you're more involved in at certain times, and that changes. But we can strive for more balance. We can strive to be better at managing all the things, right? So that we're not feeling guilty all the time about, oh gosh, well, I'm working, I should be with my kids, or I'm with my kids, I should be working, and that constant guilt that we have when we're not really good with our time. So over the course of the last year and a half or so, I ended up mastering time blocking, learning how to build it all in, how to fit in all the things that were important, and how to not give attention to or energy to the things that weren't serving me, like scrolling and like just different things that felt like obligations that I may have been saying yes to that were taking up my time and making me feel like I didn't have enough time for the things I wanted to do. So through all of this, I ended up launching a coaching program, and I coach female entrepreneurs who have online businesses how to implement time blocking, how to be more productive with their time, how to really master their schedule and own the day, how to really hold themselves accountable. And when you work for yourself, you don't have a boss, right? So the only way that you can create that accountability is by putting that accountability on yourself. And so my planner, I'm a paper planner girl, my planner has become my boss. And I set up my schedule in such a way, and I teach my clients to set up their schedule in such a way that that is who you answer to. Your schedule is everything. That thing goes with you everywhere, and it holds you accountable. And so that is how my time blocking coaching program was born. And I'm going to give you guys a few tips and things that I implement with my clients that you can start to implement for yourself. If you're somebody who you know you could be more productive, you know that you're maybe wasting a lot of time, maybe you're procrastinating, or maybe you're doing what I was doing, which is work, and there's other areas of your life that are maybe suffering a little bit. So this can help you just kind of getting on track with being a little bit more organized with your time, if that's something that you know that you could benefit from. So the first thing that I recommend is that I recommend people streamline their schedule so that you don't have some stuff over here on a Google Calendar, some stuff in your phone, some stuff on a paper planner, some stuff on a sticky note, but that you really bring it all together and you have it all in one place and you utilize one system. Because the only way that you can really see what's going on with your life and see where your time's going and really manage your time well is to have it all together and to really build it. It's almost like a puzzle, like figuring out where you have free time, figuring out where there's space and gaps in your day where you can put in personal development, you can put in, downtime, meditation, a walk with the dog, those kinds of things that are so important, but they end up oftentimes not getting put in because they're not urgent, right? There's not an emergency happening with your dog that you have to walk your dog. But if you don't, then eventually you're going to have a dog that, isn't healthy, right? Because it's not getting exercise and whatnot. So we want to build those things in before they become emergencies, right? Same thing with relationships, with our marriages and our intimate relationships. If we're not nurturing those relationships throughout every day and touching them and making sure we give attention to them and date nights and things like that, then eventually there will be a problem, right? So we want to address that before it gets to be a problem. So that is what I'm helping people do. So the first thing is streamline, get one system that works for you. I really like the paper planners because I like to write things down. I like to be able to erase. I like to be able to, there's something that happens with the brain when your hand is doing the work and writing versus just typing it into your phone. Not to mention, I think we could all use a little bit less time on our phones. So that's why I like the paper planner. I also like to color code things. I like to highlight. I like to look by week all laid out. I think it's just a better way to do it. And I've actually had a lot of clients who have switched over from digital to paper because of that reason. So get a system that works for you and stick to one system. And then the second thing I would recommend is that you build out your schedule in 3 different stages. So the first stage that you would build out your schedule is all the things in your life that are time specific. So dropping the kids off at school, if you have a 9-to-5 job that you go to, or you have another job that you have to show up for at a certain time, haircuts, anything that's a time, that's specifically a time, you want to put those things in first because they can't be done at any other time, right? They take up a certain time in your day and they need to be put in there first. So those things all go in first. The second thing that goes in, this is stage 2, is all of your self-care, personal time, morning routine, downtime for relaxation, date nights, time with your children that's uninterrupted. Maybe you're going for a walk with your husband after dinner. Maybe you're taking your dog for a walk, like all those kinds of things, self-care, things that nurture you, massages, facials, anything that's going to make you better, personal development, time to listen to a podcast or read a book, like build those things into your schedule so that they actually have a place and they get done. And the reason why we utilize time blocking and why time blocking is so good is because it gives you chunks of time where you can see, okay, this is where my time's being spent. And when that time is over, I move on to the next thing. And it can really help you hold yourself accountable to staying on track with things and not, being, procrastinating, right? Which is what I would do sometimes is I got to go to the grocery store. I'll go when I have a second. Well, then I procrastinate, end up it's too late, now I can't go, or I'll sit in my car on my phone making a post, procrastinating, and if I don't have a structured schedule. So this is really, really important to help you stay on track and get the things done that you want to get done. The third thing that you're going to build in to your schedule is your side hustle. So if you're somebody that has a secondary business, a side business that you're building, let's say maybe you're in real estate, maybe you have a network marketing business, maybe you have some sort of coaching business or some other online business that you run, those that you want to build that in the pockets of your life. So wherever you have space left, after you've put in your personal stuff and your time specific stuff, then you can see all the pockets that you have in your day where you can put in 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there, an hour there for income producing things that you need to do for your side hustle business so that it can then become either more of a bigger chunk of your income, or maybe it replaces your income from your job if that's what you're looking to do. I work with a lot of women that are trying to replace their income. And so I help them find the time that they do have in their schedule where they can build that stuff in. So those are the 3 stages that I have people build out their schedules. I work really closely with people. I do one-on-one coaching, and then I also have a camp that I'm launching. There's a few spots left, actually, if anybody's interested. It's for female business entrepreneurs, online business. It's a 6-week camp, and there's going to be 6 guest speakers, women who are experts in their field that are going to be speaking and giving tips and strategies, along with my coaching over the 6 weeks, which is going to be all about dialing in your schedule, getting organized, setting up a morning routine. I help you build out your schedule. I help you implement time blocking. I help you implement power hours, get you really, really efficient so that you become the CEO of your business and you show up in your business more professionally and organized and feeling productive every week. So that is something that if you're interested in, if you go to my Instagram is Lisa Lupo _, I'll put it in the comments here below. There's a link in my bio to my application where you can learn more about it, and you can also apply there. It's a very small group of women. It's going to be awesome. It gets started in about 2 weeks. So if you're somebody that's interested in that, you can go check it out. But I want to give you guys an exercise that I do with all of my clients to help them figure out what are the priorities that need to be put in my schedule. Because right now, for a lot of you, for a lot of the people that I work with, people say, I have so many things. There's so much. How do I fit it all in? So to be honest, it's not all a priority, right? When we say priority, oftentimes we're like, everything's a priority, like all this stuff has to be done. But really, when it comes down to it, there's really only 3 or 4 things in our lives that really need to take priority and really need to be given the most attention in our lives. And the way that we figure out what that is through an exercise I call the 10 categories. So we have about 10 categories that cover kind of our whole life, right? I'm going to share them with you, but then I'm also going to put them in the comments so you guys can get it later because I'm going to go through them kind of quick. You go through these 10 categories, and what I'm going to have you do is you're going to write down all the categories. You're going to write them vertically on your page, and you're going to go through each category, and you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, you're not going to rate them against each other. You're going to rate each category as its own. Scale of 1 to 10, where are you at in this category? So 10 being, I need a lot of work in this category. This category in my life is really suffering right now. And 1, I'm sorry, I gave you that backwards. 10 being, you're rocking and rolling in that category. You're great. You feel really confident in this category. 1 being, you need a lot of love and support in that category. Okay, so 1 being like really low, like you really want to build this area of your life up and better yourself in this area. Okay, so you're going to do a scale of 1 to 10 for each one. And then at the end, you're going to look and see what are the lowest numbers. So for most people, there's usually about 3 or 4 that are pretty low, that are lower than the rest. Anything under a 5 is really something that you want to take a look at. Okay. And then if you have a bunch of them that are low, like I did when I first did this exercise about 10 years ago, I had all the categories were low. I was literally in tears because I was in a really rough place in my life at the time. And what my coach at the time had said to me is she said, well, pick the ones that stand out the most to you as causing you the most pain. And let's hone in on those. Okay. So that's what I would encourage you to do. So find the lowest 4 or pick the ones that are the most painful for you when you think about them. Those are going to be what you want to hone in on and build into your schedule. So here are the 10 categories. So it's health and fitness, career and purpose, intimate relationship, family, friends, friendships, mental health, spiritual health, personal growth, fun and travel, financial health, and That's the last one. Financial health is the last one. So each of those categories, and I'll list them below in the comments, rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, I'll give you guys an example. Let's say that your intimate relationship and your finances are low. Let's say that maybe you feel a little lost when it comes to your purpose in life or your career, and you feel overwhelmed by that, by the fact that there's so many things that you feel like you need to work on. The nice thing about this is when you go to work on 1 or 2 or 3 of these categories, all of them automatically start to rise up. Okay, so I used to be at a place in my life where finances were the biggest thing. And it was such a huge problem for me that it was causing the intimate relationship to suffer, right? It was causing some other areas of my life to be painful. So when I went to work really hard on my financial situation, all of the other areas started to kind of rise up and started to kind of become better. So that's what's so nice about honing in on a few of these things. You'll notice that everything else starts to kind of get better at the same time. Okay, so this is what you're going to build in to your time blocking. This is where you're going to put in like the stuff that's under your self-care category. If it has to do with, let's say your personal growth is a low number, or your relationship is a low number, or you're not spending enough time having fun and downtime, right? And friendship stuff like coffee dates and things like that. Those are all things that you're going to build into your schedule in your self-care, in your personal nourishment category, right? So the only way that you know how to do that and what to put in is by rating yourself on these 10 categories and really honing in on the areas that need the most love. And that's what you're going to put into your schedule. So there's no room in your schedule for things that don't serve you, things that don't grow you, things that aren't going to grow your business or yourself. Maybe those things don't need to be in your schedule right now. And when you don't have a structured, organized schedule, oftentimes things get fit in there where they don't really need to be in there. They're not really serving you or moving your life forward. So sometimes we have to create boundaries. And if you're anybody who has big goals and you want to create, success in your business or in your relationships or anywhere in your life, if you want to grow, you have to have boundaries and you have to be willing to be a little bit more structured with your time so that you can create the life that you want. So that is what I'm all about. I'm all about helping women create the life that they want. And I do that through my other business, which is health and wellness related, and then this business, which is all about helping women be more successful in their businesses, make more money, get more organized. So again, if you guys found any value in this and you would like more tips or you would like to work with me, be part of the collaboration camp, you can head over to my Instagram page. There's a link in my bio there. As I mentioned earlier, you can click that link and there's more information about my collaboration camp there, and there's also an application. So if anyone has questions, if anyone wants to ask a question, please put it in the comments. I'd be happy to answer questions for you guys and give you more tips if you need any help. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and those of you that end up watching, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Jillian, for inviting me to share. Bye, guys.